Well, I thought I'd get real personal for a minute. When I was in elementary school, I was not a good student, and that I was able to continue that level of performance all the way through high school, by the way. But in elementary school, I had a teacher, Ms. Matthews, and she was a wonderful teacher. But I was not good in math, and I had two buddies of mine, and every day in our class, we would swap homework papers and cheat. I'm not proud of that, but week after week after week, for months, we would fake the grades and fake the answers on our homework. And one day, Ms. Matthews, this wonderful teacher, just before she called out the answers on our homework sheet, she got up and she walked over to my buddy, my cohort in crime, and said, "Joe, could I have your paper?" And immediately, I was absolutely terrified. And then she walked over to Jim and said, "Jim, could I have your paper, please?" And then she came and said, "Flip, can I have your paper?" Well, all three of those homework assignments were blank. We were going to fill in the answers and either get an A or a B because we were so good at cheating. You know, she didn't say a word to us after that. That night, I was terrified she's going to call my parents. The next day at school, she doesn't say anything at all. I am so ashamed of what I've done. Here is this teacher, Ms. Matthews, who I absolutely adored, and I was cheating and lying about it. And that day at recess, we were out playing, and I was pitching and having a great time, and she walked out on the edge of the field and motioned. You know, when a teacher does this, I think everybody on the field comes. But I walked over to her and was looking down at the ground, and she's patting on my forearm, and she said, "Flip, I've been watching what you've been doing all year. I can't tell you the sense of shame I felt." And then while she was patting on my forearm, she looked at me and she said, "You know, Flip, I really believe someday you're going to grow up and be a great baseball player." You know, she could have shamed me. She could have hurt me. She could have called me out. But she didn't. She put something in me. And many, many, many years later, I was sitting with Reed Nichols with the Texas Rangers, going over scouting reports with them on a lot of the data that we do on professional athletes. And I told Reed I needed to take a break and stepped outside in the hallway. And he stepped out to get coffee and saw me, and I was a little teared up, which I don't do as a rule. And he said, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I was just thinking about Ms. Matthews." And of course, he's like, "Who's that?" And well, she's the lady that 30 years ago thought that someday I might be sitting in a room such as this. And I tell you, I love her. I love the teachers that even when they saw me doing things I should not be doing, they didn't talk about that. They talked about what could have been. They gave me a hope that candidly I was unable to have for myself at that time. And so when Sean and I were talking about filming a segment on this story, I just had to think back about how wonderful so many of my teachers were to me. And that's who I hope we can all be, is that we don't shame, we don't call out, we don't bust kids that are doing wrong, but we call them up, we speak life into them. And she certainly did that to me, and I am eternally grateful for Ms. Matthews.